Our dissertation task on the topic revolves around the China is our friend or foe. The analytical report elementary traces the bilateral incursions between China and India are more so on context, the geopolitical canvas of the world today.
As we know, the relation between India and China, be it diplomatic, socio-economic, it is very variable. So, the relation between the two Asian giants are complex from long time ago. So, by the help of this survey, we will discuss about the bilateral relation, the trigger points, the conflicting areas, and also we would discuss some of the doable solutions so we can build a healthy relation between India and China.
This is Umar Shahin reporting from BBU. So why we chose this topic? China is a friend or foe? As we know, China is a global power. Also, understanding China's role in international affairs is very important as it is used to frame diplomatic strategies about trade and safety measures. Additionally, it insists on various issues like human rights and territorial and Sino-Indian, most important Sino-Indian land dispute, which is very popular among us. Also, its invest and trade contribute to a debate.
Exploring the dynamics between India and China is compelling due to their immense geopolitical significance, historical tensions, and economic power. Investigating whether they can maintain a friendly relationship offers insight into global stability and cooperation in the 21st century.
For establishing a more cohesive frame to examine our content of China, the friend or enemy, we begin our investigation with three most important questions related to the topic. Can China be our friend forever? Now, starting with the first question, can China replace Russia in future for us in bilateral relationship? Now, what is bilateral relationship? The economical, cultural and traditional relationship between two independent states is called the bilateral relationship.
As we know, China and India are already in trade relation, but import is from China side is more as compared to India. Hence, the next obvious question is India trade association with China as should be more or less.
A major global and diplomatic space and victory for India today would be a permanent membership in UNSC. UNSC, the United Nations Security Council, which seeks to address threats to international security. It has 15 countries as part of it, out of which 5 are permanent, that are France, Russia, United Kingdoms, United Nations and China's. So, the third compelling question that emerges is, do you see China voting for India's permanent seat in UNSC?
As we peruse the data, it is important to deal with certain critical contexts that are likely to determine our relation with China as a trade partner, particularly the single window system. The single window system or single window concept is a trade facilitation concept which allows international traders to submit information to single agency rather than having a deal with multiple agencies. China has developed this at a record speed to become the second largest economy in the world and hold innumerable attraction for tourists to explore. Where does this leave us in the competition?
Let us now examine the lead by looking at primary data we collected. India and China have signed the peace treaty, but China doesn't follow the treaty. Such a case in point is the Galvan Valley dispute. Second, Russia Federation, United States, United Kingdom, France, Brazil, Japan and Germany supports India bid for gain permanent membership in UNSC, but China remain mute in this context.
Findings, China may become more important in few economic aspects, but it's unlikely to replace Russia across the broader spectrum of India's bilateral relations due to some security issues between India and China, and also Russia is a critical supplier of energy especially in oil and natural gas, so it's unlikely to replace Russia for China in India's bilateral relations.
For the third point, we should increase raw material from China such as API and export finished goods.
Overall analysis for all three questions are as following. For the first question, we got 10% in yes, 80% while disagreeing, and the rest of 10% go with the neutral. So the overall belief is that the China can't breach the space and pact of faith that India shares with Russia in future for bilateral relations. For the second question, we have 10% of yes, 60% of no and 30% go with the neutral. So the overall is that we have to increase the trade but have to maintain the trade deficit. That means we have to increase export and import in equal measures. So as well as we have to open a market in China as well. For third question, we got 5% of yes, 90% of no, and the rest of 5% go with the neutral. So unanimously all the candidates says that China will never support India in UNSC for our permanent seats. These are all the responses that we get from our survey.
By diversifying partnership with other countries to reduce dependence upon China economically and strategically, and investing in domestic capabilities across various sectors to reduce Chinese imports.
Firmly defending India's territorial integrity and interest in international relations while engaging in bilateral discussions with China. And since India is a developing nation, we should neither have any acquaintance or antagonist. We should solely rely on its pros and its cons.
Indeed, watching closely India-China relation, based on the survey, we can conclude that maintaining monitor relation with China would be a good idea. Border issues should also be solved diplomatically. Apart from this, China might not change its attitude towards India, so we should continuously evolve ourselves into a self-dependent nation. Continued efforts to share awareness and growth would be a key factor for the future that lies ahead.
Thank you for participating in our survey on India-China relationship. Your insights are invaluable in understanding public perceptions. By exploring various viewpoints, we have gained a deeper understanding of the complexities surrounding this relationship. Your contribution will enrich our research and foster greater understanding in this crucial area. Above all, China should be made to realize that India wants to excel, but not override any other country in her race to establish peace and prosperity for every Indian. For us, the Indians, it's always live and let live. World is our family.